Welcome back, teacups, to yet another reading stream. As a recap, I will look at the chat. I will not be able to answer any questions or anything that pops up until the end of the stream. But that's how we do it when we're reading. We read, relax, and then after we talk. Maybe. So, pull up a chair, get some coffee or tea or a drink of your choice, get comfortable, and let's continue. We Three Kings. Then the high school years. Anastasia's point of view. My high school years passed pleasantly, if not in a bit of a blur. I was constantly busy, from one club or sport or activity to another. Volleyball, cheerleading, soccer, basketball, National Honor Society, Key Club, Association Student Body, balancing full-time advancement placement classes, of course, and in my spare time, other hobbies as well. Like my mother, my dad had told me I had inherited both her brain and her athletic ability. Though, honestly, it wasn't like my dad lacked either of those. He himself was a football star in high school. The state trophy he won his senior year still stood in the trophy case in the school hallway, along with his jersey. That was the thing about small towns. They tend to immortalize people. You never get away from the reputation, good or bad. You were constantly being compared to them, a standard you couldn't meet or fail. In a way, that was my deepest fear. A fear of failing my dad and my mom, though I've never met her. By my sophomore year, I was well on my way to having everything. Everything aligned perfectly for the last 2 years of high school to exceed expectation. Junior year, I had been active enough. I was a shoe-in to be president of most of the clubs I was in and captain of the sports I had played. Senior year, I had succeeded. At graduation, Charlie cried. I did too. I was leaving Forks, Washington, leaving my close group of friends. Then again, we were all leaving the small town we had grown up in, spreading our wings far and wide to explore and set off to far greater things that we all thought we were destined for. I was leaving for MTSU, a state college in Tennessee. After that, I had hopes of studying it abroad and possibly even joining Mercy Corps. My best friend Ashley leaving for New York University to study English, and after that, Peace Corps. My other best friend Justin leaving for California to attend a private college, Azusa Pacific, and taking over his father's business. My best friend Andrew also leaving for California to attend Cal Poly under an engineering major. Aaron was attending Vanderbilt University in Nashville to get his medical degree. Sam was East Coast as well, but he was in Florida attending Florida State. But honestly, I wasn't sure what he wanted to do. And my other best friend, Andy, we had two Andys, but this one was a girl, Marymount Manhattan University in New York as well. She was studying music. All our lives were drastically changing, only I didn't realize just how much my life would be changed in the years to come. I didn't realize just what destiny had for me. Now return to Forks. No one's point of view. The return to Forks, Washington was filled with turmoil for Bella and the two Cullen siblings. Of course, the reception at the SeaTac airport was no surprise. Jasper was no surprise, but he only had eyes for Alice, and she quickly went to his side, though they did not embrace like normal couples, only stared into each other's eyes. Still, Bella felt the need to look away, as if it was some intense private moment she was intruding on. Carlisle and Esme were next, waiting in the far corner. "Thank you so much," she told Bella. "You will never put me through that again," she nearly growled to her son, throwing her arms around Edward. "Sorry, Mom." Edward grinned, looking sincerely repentant. "Thank you, Bella," Carlisle said. "We owe you." "Hardly," Bella mumbled, feeling the stress and terror catch up to her. "She is dead on her feet," Esme scolded Edward. "Let's get her home." Stumbling through the airport, half asleep, to reach the cars, Emmett and Rosalie were leaning against the black sedan under the dim lights of the parking garage. "Don't. She feels awful," Esme whispered, rousing Bella from her half-asleep state. "She should," Edward all but growls. "It's not her fault," Bella weakly says, now clinging to Edward. Besides, they had bigger things to worry about. "Let her make amends," Esme pleads. "We'll ride with Alice and Jasper." "Please, Edward," Bella pleads, not seriously wanting to be with Rosalie, though Emmett was fine, but not wanting to cause a further rift. Besides, if she wanted to deal with the Volturi and her apparent half-sister's alliance with them, the Cullen family needed to be united. "Edward," Rosalie begins. "I know," Edward cuts off. "Bella?" Rosalie asks softly. "Yes, Rosalie?" Bella says. "I'm so very sorry, Bella. I feel wretched about every part of this, and so grateful that you were brave enough to save my brother after what I did. Please say you'll forgive me," Rosalie says, the words stiff, clearly out of her embarrassment. "Of course, Rosalie," Bella grasps, wanting to have Rosalie hate her any less. "It's not your fault at all. I'm the one who jumped off the damn cliff. Of course I forgive you." "It doesn't count until she's conscious, Rose," Emmett laughs lightly. "I'm conscious," Bella protests, but obviously loses the fight as her eyes begin to drop slightly. "Let her sleep." Edward insists, his voice slightly less hostile. The fight is lost as the hum of the car lulls Bella to sleep, and the coolness of Edward's body is the last thing Bella feels. "Bella!" Charlie's voice shouts, breaking through Bella's consciousness. "Charlie," Bella mumbles, attempting to wake up more thoroughly. "Shh, it's okay. You're home and safe. Just sleep," Edward soothes. I can't believe you have the nerve to show your face here, Charlie bellows at Edward. Stop it, Dad, Bella groans. What's wrong with her? Charlie demands. She's just very tired, Charlie. Please let her rest. Edward tries to assure. Don't tell me what to do, Charlie yells. Give her to me. Get your hands off her. Cut it out, Dad, Bella demands childishly, as if she honestly doesn't realize that she's done something wrong. Be mad at me. You bet I will be, Charlie promises. Get inside. Sometimes, not that Charlie made a habit of comparing his daughters, he loved them both equally. But it was in this moment he wished Bella was more like Anastasia. Anastasia would have never done something this reckless or immature. The most immature thing Anastasia had ever done was watch cartoons of Power Rangers at 4 a.m. in the morning while having sleepovers with her 5 best friends. And he had been in the house. Or, make snack runs in the car with her best friends to get fruit snacks and pizza. Hardly what he would consider reckless. Immature, yes, but she balanced a full schedule of advanced placement sport classes, sports, and clubs, as did her best friends, who she had basically known since elementary school. So if they wanted to spend their free time doing that, he was hardly going to complain. Also, Charlie never had to worry about boys with his eldest daughter. Anastasia had been too focused on school or sports. All her dances she ever went to, which she did attend, she told him it was all part of the perfect high school experience. Her dates had always been her best friend Justin. They had simply been friends. She swore up and down that was all that would ever be. Charlie had secretly wanted them to actually date. Honestly, they would have been a perfect couple. If he could have planned their wedding along with Justin's parents, he swore they would have already done so or betrothed them. Okay, let me down, Bella says with a sigh. Bella couldn't walk nor see which way was up. Just let me get her upstairs, then I'll leave, Edward pleaded. No, Bella panics, clinging onto Edward needily. I won't be far, Edward promises to Bella, too low for Charlie to hear. Carefully bringing Bella up to her room, Bella finally succumbing to sleep once more. When Bella awoke, it was sudden awareness, sharp, impatient, and fear that startled her. And she nearly bolted upright were it not for Edward's arm curled around her. Did I frighten you? Edward's voice was low and anxious. Oh crap, Bella cries. What's wrong, Bella? Edward worries. I'm dead, right? Bella moans. I did drown. Crap, crap, crap. This is gonna kill Charlie. Anna is going off to college and I'm dead. You're not dead, Edward says flatly, frowning. Then why am I not waking up? Bella challenges, raising an eyebrow. You are awake, Bella. Sure, that's what you want me to think. And then it will be worse when I do wake up. If I wake up, which I won't because I'm dead, this is awful. Poor Charlie, and Renee, and Jake, and my sister. Well, maybe she's, I don't know. Is she really with the Volturi? Bella trails off. I can see where you might confuse me with a nightmare, Edward says, smiling grimly. But I can't imagine what you could have done to wind up in hell. Did you commit many murders while I was away? Obviously not. It was in hell. You won't be with me. Did a lot of that really happen then? Bella finally asks, her mind clear, the memories of Volterra, the Volturi, and her sister, of all things, slamming back into her mind. That depends, Edward says, his voice almost sarcastic, but really just tense. If you're referring to us nearly being massacred in Italy, and me finding out you have an older half-sister, then yes. How strange, Bella muses. I really went to Italy? Do you know, I've never been further east than Albuquerque. Maybe you should go back to sleep. You're not coherent. Edward rolls his eyes. I'm not tired anymore. What time is it? How long have I been asleep? Bella denies, shaking her head. It's just after 1 in the morning, so about 14 hours, Edward informs. Charlie, Bella asks, trying to stall the inevitable. Sleeping. You should probably know that I am breaking the rules right now. Well, not technically, since he said I was never to walk through his door again, and I came in the window. But still, the intent was clear, Edward explains. Charlie banned you from the house? Bella asks, disbelief melting into fury. She was 17. He couldn't do that to her. Did you expect anything else? I owe you an apology, Bella. And no, of course I owe you much, much more than that. But you have to know that I had no idea. I didn't realize the mess I was leaving behind. I thought it was safe for you here. So safe. I had no idea that Victoria would come back. Edward begins, words flowing fast and his lips curling back at Victoria's name. Not that there's any excuse for what I left you to face. Please know that I had no idea of any of this. I feel sick to my core even now when I can see and feel you safe in my arms. I am the most miserable excuse for... Stop, Edward. Bella tries to interrupt. Believe Edward was trying to simply make up the excuses to ease his guilt, to just leave her, even with the threat of the Volturi hanging over them. Please let me finish, Bella, Edward says, pressing a finger to her lips. Isabella Maria Swan, I feel guilty, of course, intensely so, more than you can comprehend for everything. But know this, I am here, and I love you. I have always loved you and will always love you. I was thinking of you, seeing your face in my mind every second that I was away. When I told you that I didn't want you, it was the very blackest kind of blasphemy. Bella shakes her head, tears leaking out of her eyes. You don't believe me, do you? Edward says, looking more pale than usual. Why can you believe the lie, but not the truth? It never made sense for you to love me. I always know that. Bella chokes out weakly. I'll prove to you you're awake, Edward says, catching Bella's face between his hands and leaning forward to kiss her. Please don't. Why not? Edward demands. When I wake up, Bella begins. Okay, forget that. When you leave again, it's going to be hard enough without this, too. I'm not leaving you, Edward promises. Bella only blinks, remaining silent, skeptical. I'm not going anywhere. Not without you, Edward says seriously. I only left you in the first place because I wanted you to have a chance at a normal, happy, human life. I could see what I was doing to you, keeping you constantly on the edge of danger, taking you away from the world you belonged in, risking your life every moment I was with you. So I had to try. I had to do something, and it seems like leaving was the only way. If I hadn't thought you would be better off, I could have never made myself leave. I'm much too selfish. Only you could be more important than what I wanted, what I needed. What I want and need is to be with you, and I know I'll never be strong enough to leave again. I have too many excuses to stay. Then heaven for that. It seems you can't be safe, no matter how many miles I put between us. Don't promise me anything, Bella pleads weakly. You think I'm lying to you now? Edward asks, anger glinting in his eyes. No, not lying, Bella says, trying to remain object, but failing as emotions get the best of her. You can mean it now, but what about tomorrow, when you think about all the reasons you left me in the first place? Or next month when Jasper takes a snap at me? Edward flinches at Bella's implications. It isn't as if you haven't thought the first dish isn't through, is it? You'll end up doing what you think is right. I'm not as strong as you give me credit for. Right and wrong have ceased to mean much to me. I was coming back anyways. Before Rosalie told me the news, I was already past trying to live through 1 week at a time, or even 1 day. I was fighting to make it through a single hour. It was only a matter of time, and not much of it, before I showed up by your window and begged you to take me back. I'll be happy to beg now, if you'd like that, Edward explains. Be serious, please. Oh, I am, Edward insists, glaring. Will you please try to hear what I'm telling you? Will you let me attempt to explain what you mean to me? Edward waits a moment for Bella to accuseki. Before you, Bella, my life was like a moonless night, very dark, but there were stars, points of light and reason. And then you shot across my sky like a meteor. Suddenly everything was on fire. There was a brilliancy, there was beauty. When you were gone, when the meteor had fallen over the horizon, everything went black. Nothing had changed, but my eyes were blinded by the light. I couldn't see the stars anymore, and there was no more reason for everything. Your eyes will adjust. That's just the problem. They can't, Edward insists. What about your distractions? Just part of the lie, love. There was no distraction from the agony. My heart hasn't beat in almost 90 years, but this was different. It was like my heart was gone, like I was hollow, like I'd left everything that was inside me here with you. That's funny, Bella muses. Funny? Edward echoes. I meant strange. I thought it was just me. A lot of pieces of me went missing too. I haven't been able to really breathe in so long, and my heart, that was definitely lost. Bella says, taking in a deep breath, feeling for the first time alive again. Edward closes his eyes, laying his head over Bella's heart, listening to the comforting sound of it beating, humming, almost like a hummingbird, at least to him. We have things we need to deal with. Bella finally breaks the silence. Yes, I suppose we do. Like Victoria. That's out of the question. Bella manages to choke out, fear taking hold. The image of Edward hunting her, even with Emmett and Jasper's help, flashing through her mind. It was worse than her other imaginings of Jacob Black standing across a small space with Victoria's vicious feline figure. It's too late for her. Might have let the other time slide, but not now. Not after. Didn't you promise you weren't going to leave? That isn't exactly compatible with an extended tracking expedition, is it? Besides, there are greater problems at the moment than her. Jake's pack probably scared her off. There's really no reason to go after her. That's true. The werewolves are a problem, Edward says, eyes narrowing, yet understanding what Bella was referring to. The Volturi. You know I wasn't talking about Jacob. My problems are a lot worse than a handful of adolescent wolves getting themselves into trouble, Bella says, forcing the both of them to face the problem they knew was looming over them. Edward's teeth snapped shut, grinding together, his fist clenching. We need to talk to your family, Bella says, attempting to get up. You'll wake Charlie, Edward points out. I know, but honestly, I'll be grounded for weeks as it is. How much more trouble can I get? Can I really get in? None. He'll blame me, not you. Edward shrugs. If you have a better idea, I'm all ears. Stay here, Edward suggests weakly. No dice, but you go ahead and make yourself at home. Okay, I'll give you a ride, Edward sighs, giving in quickly. Either way, but you should probably be there too, Bella says. And why is that? Edward challenges. Because you're extraordinarily opinionated, and I'm sure you'll want a chance to air your views, Bella points out. My views on which subject? This isn't just about you anymore. You're not the center of the universe, you know. We need to figure out things with the Volturi, my impending mortality, or if we challenge them. Edward looked less than pleased, but took Bella into his arms and sped off to the Cullen residence. Welcome back, Bella, Carlyle smiled. What can we do for you this morning? I imagine, due to this hour, this is not a purely social visit. I like to talk to everyone at once, if that's okay, about something important, Bella asks. Of course, why don't we take it in the other room? Carlyle says, ushering both Edward and Bella into the dining room. The floor is yours, Carlyle says, once everyone is gathered. Well, I'm hoping Alice has already told you everything that happened in Volterra, Bella begins. Everything, Alice assures. And on the way? Bella asks. That too, she nods. Good, then we're all on the same page, Bella says with relief. So, I have a problem. Alice promised the Volturi that I would become one of you. You're going to send someone to check, and I'm sure that's a bad thing, something to avoid. And so, now this involves all of you. I'm sorry about that, Bella begins. Just a minute, Edward interrupts. Carlyle, sure there is a way, Aro, something to do to fight this or extend. Edward, my son, Carlyle interrupts his own son. This is certainly not what perhaps you wanted, but the Volturi, not even Aro in particular, but Caius is very rash. Though I am immensely grateful that Bella risked her life to go to you in Volterra, I have known Aro for centuries, and may not agree with their particular way of living, but they are the rulers of our kind, for good reason. I'm afraid there is nothing much to be done. We must comply with their verdict and wishes. If not, we risk our entire family, our coven. You were lucky to get out of there alive. There must be something, Carlyle. The Volturi is certainly not. Edward protests. Edward, Carlyle interrupts again, for the first time acting like the leader of the Cullen Coven, commanding and definite. The Volturi are the most powerful coven, for very good reason. They have more power and strength than you can ever imagine. And from what Alice said, Bella's old half-sister sits at the throne as the queen and mate to the head of the Volturi. We must tread very carefully. We should not pick a fight with them. Complying to their verdict is the only option. I am so sorry, Edward. It is done. And there is a good spot to stop for today. I hope that you all had a wonderful time listening to me read this story, and that you will come back next time. Maybe I'll do something different. Maybe I'll read. We shall see. But have a great time. Stay sweet, teacups, and later.